with them. And does it have to be Polygon, or it can be like with all the chains we have?
I mean, if it's with their game, right? So if we do it with their game, it's wherever it's deployed. So right now it's deployed on with Polygon as well.
So now we have two gaming partners. Now we have our copy, our cornucopias, and we have this. So this is gonna expand the vision of DEGA in other chains. So
Yeah.
what are your plans regarding all of that? How's your vision regarding that?
Well, I mean, we're probably gonna trigger everything, the campaigns and the let's say the community onboarding of each of those blockchains is going to be probably paired along with the ISPO, right? So when we do the Polygon ISPO, we will certainly touch upon this relationship with the Rene games, even before, right? Like again, we can just do some friendly gaming in the meantime, but obviously when we do the release, we'll probably work with them, work with a few other companies that are already on board. By the way, they've already signed a partnership agreement with us. It's just that we can't talk about them until we do the actual release, right? And on their side, they also prefer to just like when we're gonna take action, right? So when we do the Polygon ISPO, then we're gonna start to reveal all the names of the companies that we have onboarded for that ecosystem. So yeah, basically that's where we are right now. And that's probably going to be the next steps, right? So a little bit of a friendly gaming with Arena Games, and they're going to help us with our ISPO launch, and then in turn we'll also support them when they do their token release, which should be in quarter 4 as well. And I'm also probably going to go to their event in October over there at Georgia to connect with the rest of their team and meet out with the other industry partners that they've built out in Georgia, right? Which is, if you recall correctly, man, Mick was pitching Georgia really hard yesterday. Like he's really passionate about getting his country out into the world in that sense. So I can totally relate with that, right? Like it's the same with us in Latin America.
And I see they have already three games live that can be played in iOS and Android.
Mhm.
So they have Zoo Master, Tag Master, and Arena Master. So I think is something we can start tapping into our Freaky Friday games and then make something bigger and official.
Yeah,
So
let's do something fun
I like
first, just for fun, and then we can do something more like the previous tournament we did, and have some Deca tokens as rewards by playing their games, and then we'll take it. But let's take it a step at a time, right? Like a little bit of fun at the beginning. It's always nice.
yeah, we always have fun though. And when we get the rabbit to come with his rocket launcher, it gets funny. And one question is, so they're gonna keep deploying games and creating more games, and we have the ability and the tools, and Dega has like all the APIs and every all the framework for them. So are they gonna be part of the this ecosystem, and if it is how?
Yeah, so there's always things that are going to be integrated, right? Certainly, they will take advantage of our technology as much as they can, and vice versa, right? Like as you know, most of the things we built in Web3 are open source. I believe that they are pursuing a hybrid model. Some components are open source, other are not. So we'll already have a few conversations scheduled between our technical teams, and we'll go through, the roadmap that each one of us has to determine what are the best modules that we can integrate from what they're building, what's the best that they can integrate from what we're building, um, and get that rolling, definitely. So, for example, they already have their Polygon marketplace live, right? So, featuring our Polygon ISPO NFTs in their marketplace is obviously something we'll be doing, along with other larger and key strategic partners there as well. But the point, that's a beautiful thing about crypto, right? Since it's an open API, you don't really have to pick any one provider. You can everybody can be your provider, right? Like if I create a NFT collection in Polygon, then it can be featured in Magic Eden, in OpenSea, in Arena Games. So yeah, the more that we get exposure, the better. there, right? It's all about communicating what the DEGA's vision, right, and our community, and connecting with these other ecosystems one at a time.
I was muted. So part of the geo strategy, how do you see all the tribes connecting with partners like Arena? You know, it's like, how do you see that happening? Or because I know we're gonna support a lot of the tribes in creating different teams for different games, but these are also partners. So how do you see that going on? And especially with the vision that the tribes become geos or managed as geos.
Yeah, that's a nice question. So basically, the tribes, right? We're gonna, building out tools to support them to be able to pick which aspects of gaming they want to go into, right? Like some tribes might want to be a little bit like gaming guilds, just support each other within the context of the game, and each game has its own name for it, right? Like some of them call them corporations, some of them call them gaming guilds, some of them use other names, right? So some of our tribes might just want to stay at that level, like just literally just about playing the game and competing and supporting each other, right? Others might want to start esports teams. Others might want to start their own development studios, right, to build on top of existing games. So probably, each of them will pick out their flavors, right? But as we grow this, right, the tribes in DEGA, and we start building out the tooling for them, right, we'll support them to do their own ISPOs, right, and go through this journey that we're going through right now. So all the lessons learned will be transmitted to them, and obviously opening up all of the partnerships and relationships that we have to them, right? And then I see that that'll be kind of like the foundation of what being part of the DEGA ecosystem will mean, right? It's a place where you come and you find the tools that you need to build out your own vision within the gaming industry, right? And then it'll be a matter like of in the future, it's not gonna be not even the tribes nor DEGA reaching out to people. Like the companies, the games will come to us, right? They'll come to reach out to us because we're the ones that are gonna have the best community out there of professional players and contributors, right? Like if you want to have the coolest skins, you want to have the coolest mini games, you want to have engage guilds that are engaged, well funded. We want to have esports teams. Everything is going to be within the context of the DEGA tribes, right? So I think that that's a very powerful, let's say, moat to have, right? That's a powerful basis, right? Because new games come all the time. Like there's what, thousands of games every week coming out. So it's kind of hard to stand out in that sense. But we kind of forget that everything is about people, right? Everything is about connecting with your tribe. So I think that here in DEGA, where everybody has found their tribe or is finding it, sorry, and they can even create their own at any given point in time. That's going to be the basis upon which we're going to be approached by other games.
So that brings me to a dream we always had. Is kind of like, I want to be in Cornucopia's game. I also like other kind of games, and Cornucopia's creating a whole world. But then Arena Games is coming in, and my dream is, as a creator, is, for example, to create assets or experiences that cross from one game to another. You know, maybe it's not creating the game, but it's creating the cenote, this connection, this wormhole that connects these two worlds, where I can create freely and use them in every new, I'm going to call every game a world. Every new world that comes in, I can use the things I've accumulated, acquired, or made or crafted myself. Mm-hmm. So with the explanation you're given, it's kind of coming to my mind that DEGA is going to allow a lot of that dynamics.
Yeah, we're calling those multimedia NFTs, right? Like an asset that has different representations. So the same asset can look in different ways in different contexts, right? and we're already working on that, and we're not doing it alone. For anybody out there that might be concerned and say, well, well, the fact that DEGA is doing it doesn't mean that it'll be adopted, and that's one of the key things, is that it's important for it to be backward compatible, right? So that's something that we're working on, not even just by ourselves. Like, we're already in contact with other teams that are working on that same type of implementation. So we're gonna try to keep it. I'm not gonna guarantee that everybody's gonna support literally the same standard, right? But there's certainly some standards out there, right? So we're gonna try to be as much as we can compatible with them without affecting, obviously, the experience that we're giving to our game developers. But yeah, that's essentially what you're saying, right? It's a multimedia NFT, and it's already on our roadmap, and something that we hope we can test out very, very soon. Um, Very soon, meaning, within Q3 or Q4, not, this year, right? So that's something that, yeah, so that's exactly what we're about, right? We want to make sure that we handle this complicated stuff so that you can focus on what you want to do, which is build your tribe, connect with your people, do the creative, artistic work, integrate into a game seamlessly. You don't want to go and learn, get a PhD in Solidity so that you can start learning how to do these things. We'll handle that for you. So yeah, that's gonna be one of the key building blocks.
And I love that view because it's when you speak, you speak on a, how do you say, ecosystemic way of talking about gaming and metaverse.
Mm-hmm.
So we're not only discussing the technology behind it to create the games, to do all these things, but you're also speaking about, I think, the most important part, which is the user experience and the gaming experience, and the world for the people that actually push every developer forward, which is the players.
Mm-hmm.
And in this way, in this vision, what I see is something that I was missing in my gaming world as a gamer. I was missing that, and I was really pissed when they closed my accounts in some games because whatever, because you're too good and you get, oh my God, you're cheating. No, I'm not cheating. I've been playing for 10 years this game.
Mm.
So yeah, they close your account and you lose all your assets. And that hurts because you also spend money on that. So you end up not owning anything in the games today. So you're also thinking of the player experience. And I think that's the DEGA render experience. Am I right?
Yeah, yeah. Like, if you recall yesterday, even Fatid from the Rene game scene was very passionate about that, right? Like, he was like, you could hear it in his voice about how much
Yeah.
he was
Yep.
frustrated as well with the current situation of Web2 games, and how much he wants to make this a reality, right? So yeah, that's essentially what Web3 is about, and what we're about as well, in terms of understanding the importance of people having true ownership of their digital assets, right? Because look at it this way, for Americans and Europeans, they do have, professional, game players, right? Professional esports players and everything, and developers. But if somebody loses their gaming assets, they're not gonna, it's not that much of a big deal, right? I mean, I don't want to underpin it. They do lose money, and obviously that's frustrating, and the emotional connection as well. But imagine if somebody's actually been making money or living out of this, in Brazil, right, or in Nicaragua, and then, let's say they have $5,000 worth of digital assets, right, and then a game just shuts down their account, right? Well, that would be not kind of bad or sad. That would be devastating, right, for somebody in emerging markets. So that's in I believe that we're heading into a world in which some people will actually be living that life, right? They'll actually have most of their money in digital assets, right? So we can't have that those digital assets are completely controlled and monopolized by, a company in the United States that, for any given reason, might unilaterally remove your account, right? And now screw you. Now you just lost, years worth of work. And it's not only the digital assets that you have. If they remove your account, you lost your reputation, right? Because your reputation is directly tied to the account that you've been building it with. So it's absolutely, I would say it's paramount that we go into the next decade with true digital asset ownership in gameplay for gaming.
And it happens, it's the same with your social connections. I consider like every follower, every community connection, every friend you have, I consider it an asset. You know, kind of
It
like
is,
your
yeah.
your own personal NFT, and you don't own that. And we've seen it with Twitter, bro, and Elon Musk. This is destroying a lot of value in our accounts where connections disappear. So at the end, you don't own that audience in your social media. You get some data from their analytics, some hints, but they're not yours either. So in this world where community and tribes and we belong to all these things, also owning your friendships and your relationships will come in hand. So are we thinking on that end, on like the community experiences and the connections?
I think you're right, definitely, and that is a situation that has been discussed, not even only right now in crypto, like even outside of the context of crypto in Web2, people have been discussing this for about 10 years now, right? Ever since we had the rise of Facebook and after that, Instagram and Twitter. And it's always been a topic of conversation of people saying, it's easier for me to move to another city than to move to another social network, right? Like if you picture that for a second, right? Like if you've built out an audience, say, I mean, even us, DEGA, right? We have like 8,500 followers, but imagine somebody that has 100,000 followers, right? And in Twitter, right? Like how easy it is for you to say, hey, everybody, let's all go to this other social media. Like it would be insanely complicated and hard, right? Like, and even now, you have different audiences in different social medias, right? Because everybody usually has like one or two that are their favorites, right? So it becomes very complicated or very risky, I would say, for right now brands to establish this connection and not own them, right? And actually, Elon, I mean, I don't like what he's done with the product, but he's actually censoring less, right? Like in the previous owners were censoring way more, right? Like if you said something, anti-liberal, and by liberal I mean liberal as an American liberal, you'd probably get censored, right? So it's a big risk, it's a big issue, and there's already other protocols working on that, right? Like for us in DEGA, we will remain focused on gaming. There will be some social aspects to the tooling that we built in gaming, of course. I mean, at the end of the day, everything is about people, right? And on our side, everything is about the tribes and how to connect with that. So there is a social component in the technology that we're building as well. But there's also other companies that are going to be 100% dedicated to that, right? So we wish them luck as well. Our colleagues working on the other aspects of human connection and Web3 technology, because we need this, right? We all need this type of open, free systems in which you have true ownership of your digital assets and your audience, right? In which, let's say, not that it's impossible for somebody to cause issues for you, but it makes it hard, right? You want to be protected. You want to be de-risked in terms of losing your audience. So yeah, definitely agree with what you're saying there, and hopefully we see some new protocols arise, right? Some new social media protocols arise based on blockchain.
Yeah, and they will connect deeply with what we're doing in DEGA, but that also connects with the whole DEGA experience. Like when you look at the whole DEGA experience, you always say DEGA is like an RPG game. The DEGA must feel and must be like an RPG game. And I think that a lot, when we're creating content, when we're interacting with the community, I always have that in the top of my head.
Mm-hmm.
This experience has to feel like that. But I would love everyone in the audience to really understand what you mean by that, because that's the way we're going to connect with Arena Games. That's the way we're connecting with Cornucopias. That's the way we will connect with the other partners that are coming. and the way to grow inside the Dega community and ecosystem. So maybe you can talk about your vision of why is it kind of like an RPG game for you.
Well, there's a reason we like games a lot, right? And sometimes people say, well, you've dedicated so much time to games, why don't you apply yourself like that in real life? And the truth is that it's a very simple, no, it's not so simple answer actually, but there is an answer, which is the fact that life is a little bit blurry and messy, right? It's kind of like a fog, right? Let's say that life is a fog, but then games are not like that, right? Games are properly structured in the sense of they give you clear targets, clear goals that you need to, a challenge that you need to address or meet. And then once you do that, then you are giving a clear indication of whether you were successful or not, right? So you get a quest, you complete it, here's your reward, right? You execute an action that's not the correct one or the most efficient one, like you go into a combat and you fail, well, then your character loses a life, right? So you're getting a direct indication that that was a bad decision or you executed poorly, right? So, and then the challenges are they're structured in a way in which you are learning to improve your gameplay and you are gathering and preparing yourself for the next one and the next one after that, right? But they don't give you the final boss like when you just started the game, right? That's why it's called the final boss. So this structure, this reward structure, is exactly what humans crave, right? Humans, we want this. We want to know, did I do something good or bad, right? And don't give me something that's so easy that it bores me, or something that it's so hard that I just can't complete, right? So that's and these are techniques called part of what's called game design, right? It's not necessarily gamification per se. Gamification is a little bit different. It's similar but different, but game design, right? And so basically, that's kind of like how we like how things are easier to progress into, right? And some of companies have taken these lessons and properly designed other non-gaming products that use this game design mechanics. Like Duolingo is like my favorite example, right? So they designed language learning in a way that it's gamified. Apple Health as well does that, and if several other companies, right? There are many examples, but the point is that that's kind of like the best way to onboard somebody into something, right? Like you don't like I wouldn't say right now, for example, hey, who wants to build out an autonomous neural network that's connected to the DEGA protocol, right? And everybody's like, what? How the hell are we going to do that, right? Like, you can't go to the final boss at the start, right? You have to go in, learn everything step by step. What are tribes? What are ISPO? What's the vision? How are we going to get there? What are the actions you can take today? Start off using the tools that exist already, build that out. Let's learn how to create content, how to grow, how to onboard new partners. What are the types of value that we can provide? So we're basically growing in there, us ourselves, DEGA, and the community, right? We're going through these challenges, in a measured way, one at a time. And then we're going to keep growing, and in the future, you're going to be facing other types of challenges, right? But everybody that comes in and joins the community will be taken through this path, right? Which right now we're doing a little bit, let's say, manually, but we'll structure a system, right, that'll manage all of this, quests and assignments and tasks and rewards and badges and NFTs and data token rewards and everything, so that it becomes a little bit more automated in the future. But that's essentially what we're about, right?
I love hearing about the vision and everything you have in your head. Your systemic thinking is, I love it, and I love it. And I know we're in DEGA. We're all about that systemic and ecosystemic view and perspective, Carlos. So we are clearing up more about the vision for all our audience, and we will keep doing this in the next DEGA spaces. Today is a short space because right after this we start with our Friday sessions and getting freaky and playing games and all those dynamics that I love, that I love. So I want to invite everyone to our Discord to participate in today's activities in the Freaky Fridays, have fun, test games, communicate, create connections. But Carlos, I don't see any questions from the community right now and today, and it means we're being communicating. I hope it means that we're communicating everything the proper way. But I think we're getting closer to our grand challenge finale. So maybe you want to do an invitation for to make it to that goal and explain a little bit, and then we can go.
No, actually, you handle that one.
I handled that one.
Mhm.
Okay. Okay, everyone, we have the grand challenge 200% bonus on everything we've staked or every war we've had so far, but we have one goal. And our goal is to make it to the 40 million ADA stake. And we're not that far. We're really close. So I'm inviting everyone to get together, think of ideas, content, everything you want, and let's make it happen before August 8th. If we make it, we will get a strong bonus, a strong bump, which is that is why it's called the Grand Challenge. So let's make it happen. I know it's a big goal, but I know as a community, if we get together and we all do it together, we can make it happen. We have this channel in our Discord that is called DEGA follows DEGA. So you can post everything you do there, every content you create, post it in there, and all the DEGA community is gonna jump on in it to support it. So let's make it about getting that goal, the 40 million, and getting our bonus. I need that bonus. so so no, Carlos, I think this is it for Friday. Not for Friday, for the space on Friday. We're moving into playing a bunch, playing a little bit, getting you have the chance to shoot me in the head, some headshots. So let's go.
Beautiful. Yeah, looking forward to it, man. And thank you, everybody, for joining us today. And looking forward to seeing you in the Freaky Friday. Bye bye, everybody.
Yay. Bye bye. Thank you.